Faith Ruto from Transformation21st. I'm going to be talking to you live today on how to set your goals and, most importantly, how to achieve your goals in time of change. Apologies that I sound a bit unwell. That's because I have been battling a cold, but I am feeling a bit better today. So as sticking to the plan, I wanted to carry on with this session. So let me ask you, how many of you out there set New Year resolution? Whether that's for your private life or in your work. I'm sure most of you have a goal, whether that's a short-term goal, a long-term goal, or just a daily goal, really. Well, the reason why I wanted to talk to you today was really because my clients say to me, I have my goal, but I'm not sure how to actually make it work because I have so much going on. I have so many commitments. How can I actually make my goal a reality if all I'm doing is just coping and surviving and just firefighting at work? The first thing I would say is give yourself a break, okay? Goals are there that we set for ourselves, are there to motivate us, to drive us forward, to take us to where we really want to be. So the first thing is let go of the guilt. If you're feeling guilty because you said you're going to, lose weight or, whatever goals that you have, maybe a financial goal, a well-being goal. So the first thing to do is let go of the guilt. Give yourself a break and then reflect. The techniques I like to use are very simple. SMART. I'm sure you've all heard of how to set your goal using SMART techniques. SMART means or stands for specific. So make sure that your goal that you want to achieve is specific. It could be that you want to improve your personal well-being. So specifically, what does that actually mean? Does it mean that you want to eat healthy? Does it mean that you want to get fit? Does it mean you want to join a gym because of the social element? What specifically is your goal and why do you have this goal? Once you've defined the specific purpose of the goal that you have, the next step is to look at, is it measurable? So there's this M in the SMART. How are you going to measure your goals? How will you know if you have achieved your goals? Now, I deal with clients on a daily basis in terms of setting goals, whether that's just a short-term goal, whether that's finding a new job, or even, they could be managers or leaders in a company and they want to improve things. So how will you measure? How will you know if you have achieved your goal, right? So make sure it's a measurable goal. The third letter stands for A. Make sure it's achievable. Now, because I focus on mindset, I really believe that we can achieve anything we put our mind to it. However, we have to be realistic. So we have to be making sure that whatever goal that we have set for ourselves is achievable in the timeline that we've given ourselves. For example, if you want to, let's say, you want to become the next manager within your department, and your goal is to do that by the end of the year. Well, how achievable is it? Does a position exist? Does the current person doing the role, will they be able to move on? So make sure that the goal that you have is achievable with the resources that you have. Now the fourth letter, R, is realistic. So realistic meaning that given the knowledge that you have, the information that you have, is your goal realistic? Now it's very challenging in a time of change to have knowledge of what's going to happen in 30 days. What's going to happen in 3 months' time. And we've seen it this year where, in the political arena, for example, we're about to have an election here in the UK tomorrow. So this is something that most of us would not have planned for this year. So whatever goal that you have, it's only going to be realistic with the reality that you're working with. Now, for me, I would say even go a bit further with, looking at the reality. The reality could also be the perception that you have. If you're limiting yourself, then you're going to limit, the reality of your goal. So for example, you might say to yourself, oh, I really want to go for that job or for that promotion, or I want to improve this area of my life. However, you then start putting negativity into it, or you start putting limitation, or you start putting fear of failure into it. Then obviously, what you can achieve is going to reduce. So I would say when you're looking at your goal in terms of, is it achievable? Well, ask yourself, why not? Why can I not achieve it? Now, it also means letting go. Over time and time again, we say, I want to have a better work-life balance. I want to be able to see my children more. I want to be able to have time for my friends. I want to be able to do the things that I enjoy. That's great. That's a want. You're wanting it, you know. But are you actually willing to adapt your life? Are you willing to change things around so that once you decide to set yourself a goal, for example, having a better work-life balance, you specifically saying, okay, maybe instead of working late 5 days a week, I'm going to work late maybe 2 or 3. Again, realistic. Is that achievable with the workload that you have, with the resources that you have? And then, so when I talk about, and then make sure that it's achievable. So, and you hold yourself accountable, which is the next part. I'm going to talk to you about how you do that. That's the next part of the talk. But right now, it's all about making sure that the goal that you have is smart. So you got your goal is specific, it's measurable, it's achievable, and then it's realistic. And then last one is T, which stands for timely or time bound. So put a timeline. Give yourself the same timeline that you do in your work. So for example, when I used to work in a big corporate, we always had a project plan. Within our project plan, we knew exactly the deadline when we had to deliver the project. Now you could be working in sales and you might have a sales target. So again, there's going to be a timeline. The same principle that we apply in our workplace, we can apply in our personal goals as well. So find a system that works for you, adapt to what you already have in place, let's say in your work, and just stick to that. So now that you have a goal in place, and when we talk about personal goal, what do we actually mean? For me, in the time of change, and I've seen it over and over again, we need to be making sure that we're putting our well-being, having a goal for our well-being and our health. It's so many times that we work so hard, whether that's in our private life or in our professional life, that we forget to look after ourselves. And when we do that, we actually burn out. We get very stressed, and that then affects all areas of our lives. You lose energy. If you are working longer hours, or if you have no time to breathe, let's say you're a mom and you're running around after the children and you're not even getting a cup of coffee or tea, or you're not stopping for anything, you will find out that you don't have any energy left. You don't have any motivation left to do any, to do any goals that you have. So it's really important that you assess yourself and say, okay, now that I want to set these goals, can I, is it specific? Is it measurable? Is it achievable? Is it realistic? Is it time bound? Once you've got that, then say, okay, now what resources do I need for myself to, to actually make this goal a reality? Resources might be within yourself. You might have to streamline your life. You might need to let go of some activities that you're currently doing that's going to be a distraction. So for example, if you're a person that likes socializing and you're constantly going out to eat out, but one of your goals is to have a really healthy, to eat healthy, you can do that when you're going out, but it's more challenging because you're in a social environment. So find a way that you can minimize the distraction that are going to stop you from achieving your goals. Now, once you've got your goals in place, what do you do next? Then you have to put the timeline. So the timeline could be short-term, mid-term, and long-term. With the current climate that we operate in, having a long-term plan no longer means in 10, 20 years' time. Of course it does, but you still have to make sure that there is room for you to adjust and maneuver during the course of the years to come. So it's very important that your short-term goal might be for a week. I know people that have a weekly goal. It could be for a month. It could be for 21 days. It could be for 100 days. I mean, you've seen it with, in politics. Donald Trump had 100 days goals, and so therefore it's about creating a system that works for you, but you have to make sure that the goal that you have is important and is also is urgent. You create an urgency, because with that urgency you will find the motivation to actually do your goal. But the most important point to remember is, if you have a goal and you're not achieving it, stop beating yourself up. Okay, stop feeling guilty. Just reassess, learn, why haven't you progressed with your goals? Or you could be someone that said, actually, writing goals is a waste of time. That's fine too. But fundamentally, when we're talking about setting goals, it's about having a sense of direction. Okay? Now, because we are living in a very uncertain time, a very volatile time, it's so important that you within yourself have a set of compass, a purpose, and a set of direction as to where you're heading, whether that's in your career, in your health, whether that's in your private life, any area of your life, to have a sense of control and take accountability, you do need to set some key objectives, whether that's, you call it objectives or you call it goals, whatever it is. You just need to make sure that you are feeling a little bit like you're in the driving seat. Okay, I like to use the analogy of sailing or going on a boat trip, hence the picture behind me. If you are sailing, for example, and you're in the middle of the sea without a compass, and there's a storm, the likelihood is that obviously you're gonna be not knowing which direction to turn, right? However, if you have a compass that says to you, north, south, west, east, you might ride the storm. You might ride it, and then decide that actually, okay, maybe I can take that direction or that direction. Now, it works the same way. When we have a goal that's written down, that's another key element. Write it down. Whether you write a piece of paper like this, old-fashioned, or you just type it on your phone or somewhere. Make sure that you have a goal that is visible and review it on a regular basis. Okay. Now, I want to talk to you now about, once you've set your goals, once you've got some action behind it, once you've adjusted your life to make sure that the goal is achievable, what do you then do? I have a very simple system that I use, which is ABCR. Okay. A stands for adaptable. Okay. Create a plan or a goal that allow for flexibility. What that basically means is that if, for example, your goal is to start a business, and in your business you want to target, let's say, people between the age of 30 and 40, and you launch your product and you find out that the clients that you've set your mind on, or the target market that you perceive that were going to be your client, are no longer purchasing your products, what should you do? Now, obviously, in the day of constant change, learn from it, take the feedback, adjust your marketing plan, your strategy, and try a new market or a new clientele. Okay? The risk would be staying in the same position, thinking, okay, this is the goal, this is my goal, I'm not going to change. You're going to miss opportunity, you're going to get disappointed, you're going to get frustrated, and most of all, the environment around you will change and your plan will be out of plan or out of date. Okay, so it's really important that you continue to have a plan that's adaptable with the environment or the climate, or even our personal life. For example, when my own example, when I used to work in a corporate, I finished my MBA and I had a plan, get the promotion, do the next role, blah blah, and then I decided to have children, which again was a plan, but I could not continue with that plan and that plan, knowing that there was going to be conflict. Okay, so there always has to be a way of adapting your plan. So it doesn't mean you give up on your plan completely, but have a mindset, a flexible mindset, that says, if this is not working as I've set out in my mind and my plan, what can I learn? If it's failing, for example, don't give up. Pick yourself up, learn from it, learn from the mistakes, or learn from the feedback, and move forward. So that's A. B is be bold and be brave. I see so many times people setting goals that are comfortable goals. They're goals that are, because that's what they've always done. Every year they set the same goals. I want to lose weight, I want to do this, I want to do that. Well, set a different goal. Maybe, if you have not achieved that goal, it's for a purpose or maybe for a reason. It's not motivating enough. So find a way that you can set a goal for yourself that is going to inspire you, empower you, and make you really want to go forward and get really energized. Just got a message, just 1 second. Right, so now you've got your A, which is be adaptable. B, be bold and brave. C is anticipate change. Sometimes change will disrupt your plan, whether that's change in your private life or in your professional life. Anticipate that there could be change that could disrupt your plan, or even help your plan. It could be, a change that will catapult your plan into somewhere that you're not even thought of, right? So anticipating change just means that you are already in a state of readiness. So when change does happen, you're not going to be dwelling on the shock phase or denial phase or anger phase. You're going to be anticipating it and you're going to ride it. You're going to be saying, great, this is fine, the plan has changed, my ultimate goal doesn't change, I will continue with this. So it's to be very careful that change does not disrupt your plan and stops you achieving what you want in life. So you've got your change, celebrate, okay? In everything that you do, when you set yourself a goal, I don't know what goals you're going to have, make sure you are celebrating. If your goal, for example, is to get jobs, is to get a new job, start applying, you know, use your network, use the LinkedIn, use social media, apply for the jobs. If, for example, you get a job interview, celebrate it, all right? Because in this climate, it's incredibly challenging to get a job interview, let alone, you know, to get even called back or even get acknowledgement sometimes, right? So again, depending on the sector that you're in, celebrate even just getting a job interview, right? Once you've got the job interview and you've done your best in the job interview, again, celebrate, get yourself lunch, get yourself, you know, a cup of tea, coffee, something, you know, anything that will make you feel, wow, yay, you know, I'm celebrating. Because the problem with having a goal and pursuing goals without stopping to acknowledge the success that you've achieved is that you're always going to think, you know, my glasses are half empty, my glasses are half empty. You're never going to appreciate what you have achieved. You're never going to have that fulfillment. You're never going to have that gratitude for simple things that you have achieved. So it's so important that you acknowledge those little things, those little small milestones that you have achieved. So once you've got your ABC, the next thing is review. Review your plan. Now again, depending on your plan, depending on the type of person you are, make sure that you set in your calendar, whether that's using your phone, anywhere that you can, time to review your goals. Why do I say this? Because time and time again, we set our goals and we don't review it. Reviewing your goals enables you to see whether you are realistic, whether it was specific enough, whether it was achievable enough, whether the time that you give yourself was realistic or not, and also whether you need other resources, so other people to help you achieve your goals. So this, for me, is the key. And once you keep reviewing your goals and you keep assessing whether or not you're achieving them, you'll find that you actually feel like you're in control. You're in the driving seat. You know, change is going to come, but it's not going to overpower you. It's not going to disrupt you in a negative way. It's going to have a positive impact, because when change happens, you're going to see opportunity. You're going to be looking for opportunity. You're no longer going to be feeling overpowered. So I really want to encourage you to continue with setting goals, continue with reviewing them on a regular basis, and being adaptable. So don't forget your ABC. So be adaptable, be brave, celebrate, and adapt, and celebrate and anticipate change, because that's the one certainty that we have. Change is the one certainty. Whether we want it or not, change is going to come. Okay, so the best thing to do is to prepare yourself and create a plan that puts you in control to a certain extent, not fully, but you feel like you are in control. And lastly, sharing your goals with other people. I always say, if for example you are a working mom, make sure that you share your goals, your personal development goals, with your partner, because that's so important. They are part of you, and to make sure that you have an integrated plan, maybe a family plan even, it's so important, and you feel that there is someone else helping you there, and you are being accountable. So I'll leave you with with my ABCR and SMART, which stands for, again, specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time-bound. And lastly, I want to say, if you are in a phase of your life right now where you don't have motivation to do your goals, give yourself permission that it's okay. Because to do your goal, you need to be motivated. You need the energy behind it. And if you are right now feeling at a low point in your life, see it as a season. Pack the goal for now. Maybe have a very simple goal, waking up, smiling, achieving one thing a day, one day at a time. That is in itself a goal, and it's okay to have that kind of goal. But the ultimate thing is not to be overpowered by change, not to be frightened of change, not to hate change, but to see change as opportunity, to see change as an engine, to anticipate change, and to make sure that change doesn't change your plan. Okay, so change assists, will be assisting your plan, but it's not going to change your plan and disrupt your plan completely. So I